With so many games in reseller hands, is there more they should be doing to help end speculative markets? That's a strange question because resellers are making money because of a speculative market on video games. They are profiting off of it. I'm not saying all sellers are directly, but if there are people hoarding or price manipulating games like Little Samson, and you happen to acquire Little Samson, the fact that you can charge $1,000 of it is because of a speculative market. The fact that you can, sell rare games for 10 times the value they went for 2 years ago is because of speculative market. So I'm not sure why a reseller would want to end that, except for the potential bubble that could be waiting on the other side. So it's sort of a catch-22. And it's also a catch-22 with collectors. Because collectors now, in general, if you're collecting for value, that's what I mean. If you're collecting for value, you have profited at this point off of a speculative market. Even if you bought your games, like I have largely, before the mass speculation has come into pass, we'll say 3-4 years, since like 2012, 2013, the fact that the value of my collection probably tripled or quadrupled because of that speculative market, I'm potentially profiting off of that. So I sell my collection, that's a profit. But I'm not selling my games. Sellers/resellers are selling games. So they should be careful about price manipulation, and they should be careful about sellers having 30 of a copy of a game or 20, and this is not far-fetched. This stuff happens because at some point there will be a bubble that potentially bursts. And confidence will go down. And the first one to suffer ain't going to be me with my collection I've been putting together for 20 years. I'm going to be sitting happy if my Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat is worth $1 next year versus whatever, the $15-20 it's worth now. I won't fucking care. But that seller out there is going to care. Oh, most definitely. So then it comes a game of, will those sellers leave the market if these games are go back to being worth 25% of what they are now? Will the speculators get out of the market? They will. It's just how many will, and will they lose their shirt? Because like we spoke about before, there is a ton of retro games tied up in the seller market right now. When I go to Portland Retro Gaming Expo and I see a seller having 5, and this isn't smart for them to do, but having 5 of like Super Mario RPG stacked up in their case to show you they have 5 of them, and they're not moving them. They should be priced to move. You don't want to hold on to that. When they have 6 or 7 of an uncommon games that they've acquired, just sitting there, you got to be careful. You got to move those games. If you don't move those games, prices are going to come down. And it's not always when a price comes down, it starts a chain reaction. But a lot of times if confidence goes in one seller and they'll start dumping, then other people start dumping and lowering their prices. And then that's a chain reaction overall in the quote-unquote hobby. So, but what we can do to end speculative markets is, it's hard to ask sellers to police each other because they're, it's not, well, they're not thieves, but no honor amongst thieves. Why should they? Why should they go to another seller they know across town? Yeah, you shouldn't really be pricing like that. You shouldn't be pricing above eBay because they don't care if that other seller doesn't move their product. They can just lower their cost, or lower their price and move it. So what the hell's the point? So it's really tough. It's really a tough question. I think buyers, though, have to be more careful and not feeding into the speculation and wait it out. I waited 10 years to get one game that I won't mention right now that cost a lot of money. I waited like about 10 years to get a good price on a game, and I finally got it. I didn't give in. And I just removed one person who wants a game from the market pool without paying as much as the speculators wanted me to. So I'm happy about that. Be patient. At the end of the day, these are just video games. Sellers need to sell you their games more than you need to dish out the cash to purchase it. You remember that. You have the leverage. You have the power. You can wait. You can always wait. That game's almost always going to be available, except for those few instances where there's like, NWC where like there's like 13 of them. And if that's the case, well, the seller might have the advantage. But hell, even for a Flintstones Dinosaur Peak, you can always fucking wait on that.